This is textbook authoritarian takeover 101.
I knew I should have taken that class. And not majored in submissive liberal crying 101.
Let's be real.
We're not even through the first half of 2025. Yet Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have already carved out a reputation that's hard to ignore, for all the wrong reasons. Once seen as modern royalty carving a new path, they now resemble characters in a never-ending PR meltdown. Legal setbacks and constant image crises have transformed their public life into what feels more like a cautionary tale than a comeback. Dubbed by some as the Duke and Duchess of Netflix, their relentless pursuit of sympathy, spotlight, and significance seems to have spiraled into a spectacle. Instead of winning hearts, it's triggered a wave of backlash, with commentators like Megyn Kelly now amplifying the criticism in viral fashion. Whatever narrative they were hoping to control has slipped far from their hands, and it's only becoming more chaotic.
Hours of Joe Scarborough shouldn't be allowed in this country. and then like Rachel Maddow, like it's schizophrenic at times. Like, yeah, I do think there should be some semblance of an idea that, look, they're kicking progressive ass right now. And if progressives don't organize their media, their think tanks and all that, it's going to continue to happen. It's chaos.
The illusion has officially shattered. This was never some modern-day fairy tale. For the past 5 years, the public has witnessed a whirlwind of spin, misdirection, and staggering ego masquerading as a quest for truth. Karma usually takes the scenic route, but in the case of Meghan and Harry, it's arrived like same-day shipping, with Megyn Kelly ready at the door. Armed with hard-hitting commentary and evidence that's tough to refute, Kelly isn't just throwing criticism into the wind. She's spotlighting what many already suspect. This couple isn't suffering under the weight of unfair judgment. They're architects of their own downfall. What they labeled a noble break from the monarchy was, in truth, an escape from responsibility. And instead of crafting a life grounded in purpose and grace, they've curated a stage show powered by controversy.
This is textbook authoritarian takeover 101.
I knew I should have taken that class. And not majored in submissive liberal crying 101.
Today we're unpacking 3 of the boldest, most unapologetic stunts from Harry and Meghan, starting with the headline-making Oprah interview. Back in March 2021, the couple sat down under a California tree, and instead of offering clarity or insight, they did what many argue they've perfected, casting themselves as victims while burning every bridge they crossed. The interview quickly became one of the most talked about media events of the decade, but also one of the most controversial for its lack of substance. Meghan made jaw-dropping allegations, including claims that a senior royal had made racist comments about their unborn child. But here's the catch. No names, no timeline, no specifics. Just a vague insinuation with massive consequences. The public response was immediate and global, yet even now, not a single piece of concrete evidence has emerged to support it.
Boring here for a second, but just getting very real. We now are just another one in the list of countries that has decided to, hey, what the heck, let's try the strongman thing. There are many more countries in the world governed by that kind of a system than there are governed by ours. We are the only 248-year-old multiracial, pluralistic democracy in the world. And shall we keep it?
Prince William had to step forward publicly, stating, "We're very much not a racist family." One of Meghan's biggest claims, that Archie was denied a title due to his skin color, was completely untrue. Royal rules set over 100 years. Agos state that great-grandchildren of the monarch don't automatically receive titles. Either Meghan didn't know, or hoped no one else did. She also claimed she was silenced. But later court documents revealed emails showing she was in contact with PR teams and media allies the whole time. Silenced? Hardly. Rather than revealing injustice, the interview spread falsehoods, deepened family wounds, and portrayed the Sussexes as victims in a story many believe they scripted themselves. All while cashing hefty Netflix paychecks, Harry and Meghan turned a personal moment into a PR move. In 2021, they named their daughter Lilibet, the intimate nickname reserved for the Queen's closest family. By doing this, they seem to appropriate the late monarch's legacy for their own branding. Though the couple claimed to have the Queen's blessing, palace insiders and even BBC royal correspondent Johnny Diamond denied that the monarch was ever consulted. Harry and Meghan were so upset by the BBC's reporting that they threatened legal action, yet never provided any proof of the Queen's approval. This wasn't a tribute. It was a clear case of appropriation. And all of this happened after they had spent over a year openly criticizing the monarchy. The British public, after all, wants answers. They are, in a way, their subjects. Maybe during times of loss, people want to see their royals present. But now that they're in America, it feels like they've become little more than disaster tourists. I might have to take back that Nobel Peace Prize I jokingly offered after their Poor Me act. Suddenly, they dropped the Queen's childhood, nicknamed Lilibet, to sneak back into the royal spotlight, an obvious move to reclaim some royal legitimacy while still cashing in on attacks against the very institution they left behind. The timing was no coincidence. Lilibet Diana was born just weeks after the explosive Oprah interview, and Prince Philip's funeral, a perfect storm of media attention they fully exploited. The name wasn't meant to honor the Queen. It was a calculated marketing move for Meghan. Less than 2 days after the tragic school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, where 19 children and 2 teachers lost their lives, Meghan appeared at a memorial with a camera crew in tow. Wearing a baseball cap, she laid flowers and posed silently, while her team circulated the photos worldwide. The issue? She had no connection to the victims, wasn't invited by any families, and hadn't coordinated with local authorities. This wasn't an official visit. It was a PR stunt. A grieving community became the stage for Meghan's empathy branding. Local law enforcement confirmed she didn't meet any victims' families or make any meaningful donations. Even some media supporters privately questioned her motives. Meghan later defended her trip by saying she went as a mother. Maybe she does care, but at the end of the day, it feels like the priority was simply showing up for the cameras. With the Queen's husband gravely ill, Meghan, and yes, Harry too, chose image over intimacy. That's why she showed up. That's why she scribbled uplifting messages on bananas for sex workers, conveniently with cameras rolling. The exploitation was impossible to ignore. Tragedy became a photo op. Grief turned into a publicity stage. This wasn't solidarity. It was self-promotion at its most unsettling. So, what's your take? A carefully crafted media stunt or just another episode of tone-deaf narcissism? And if 2025 has already started this way, just how far will this disaster duo go to cling to the spotlight? Share your thoughts below and be sure to subscribe for the next deep dive into royal drama. You'd think that after the Oprah fallout and Uvalde backlash, Harry and Meghan would retreat from the spotlight. But the show goes on. From flopped product launches to memoir controversies and fresh racism claims, this disaster duo keeps inventing new ways to self-destruct. Let's explore 3 more scandals that show their fall from grace was no accident. This all stems from unchecked arrogance, constant manipulation, and chaos they've brought on themselves. Take the bath salt fiasco. Meghan's attempt to launch a wellness empire fizzled before it really started. She put herself front and center on camera, knowing full well she'd become the headline. The same pattern repeated after Uvalde, when she flew in, making sure her image stayed in the spotlight. The exclusive bath salt collaboration with influencer Ronnie Patrick was supposed to be Meghan's graceful step into wellness, but it quickly lost steam. But like many Sussex ventures, it soon spiraled into chaos. Promoted as spiritually healing, and handpicked by Meghan herself, the bath salts launched with much hype, until complaints began flooding in. Reports of skin irritation, odd textures, and questionable ingredients quickly spread online. Ronnie Patrick later threatened to sue Meghan for $10 million, claiming in leaked documents that the bath salts had damaged her skin. This wasn't just a business failure. Meghan promised healing, but delivered hype tangled with embarrassment. As for her actions beyond business, some say her efforts lack real impact. While raising money would help, simply showing up on the ground without meaningful involvement does little to change anything. Harry's 2023 memoir, Spare, was billed as a personal journey. But what readers got felt more like a public tantrum. in hardcover. Stretching 416 pages, it resembled a therapy session more than a royal memoir. Among the revelations, admissions of drug use, including psychedelics and cocaine, and the cold confession of killing 25 Taliban fighters. The blunt tone sparked backlash, especially from veterans worldwide. Harry didn't hold back, airing petty complaints about his brother, his father, and even staff who once served his late mother. He even included an unusual detail: a frostbitten penis. But the real damage came from his relentless criticism of the monarchy, dragging the institution through the mud for all to witness. Meanwhile, Meghan's Netflix special remains unreleased, reportedly focused on her Martha Stewart-style reinvention in their sprawling mansion. Though it's not actually their mansion, it's rented. Meghan's Netflix special paints a picture of luxury, even including shots of her neighbors in LA. Meanwhile, Harry acted surprised when his popularity plummeted. British military leaders called him reckless, and royal experts labeled Spare the most damaging memoir ever written by a royal. His approval ratings hit rock bottom on both sides of the Atlantic. And remember, this is the same Harry who once decried the press as intrusive and begged for privacy. Yet here he was, cashing in on every personal detail for millions. Spare wasn't insight, it was spectacle. In the Dutch edition, 2 senior royals were named in the ongoing racism controversy tied to Archie's skin color, first hinted at in the Oprah interview. While the English version redacted the names, the Dutch publisher printed them in full. The result? Public opinion shifted, not against the monarchy, but against Meghan. By allowing a surrogate to casually name-drop royals and then acting innocent, Meghan only reinforced her image as manipulative and untrustworthy. For Harry, it was yet another blow to the fragile trust within his family. They tried bath salts, memoirs, and burning every bridge in sight, but in the end, they only revealed their true selves. So, what's next for this stormy duo? Will it be a lawsuit, another tell-all, or maybe a new PR stunt featuring invisible children? Drop your thoughts below on which scandal will blow up next. Otherwise, folks like me will call you out for being disgustingly insensitive. All right, time to move on because we've got a few more things to cover. Tomorrow, Pete hagged. Yeah, it might ruin your sleep and even creep into your relationships. It can seriously damage your happiness, but there are ways to get help. You don't have to suffer alone or in silence. Let me tell you about Done with Debt. They offer aggressive support to help you break free. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the next chapter in this endless royal drama. Just when you thought Harry and Meghan had reached peak absurdity, they turned their Netflix deal into a hit piece, accepted an award meant for a war hero, and Meghan somehow managed to hijack the Invictus Games. The Netflix series, a 6-episode, glossy mockumentary, was pitched as an intimate look into their struggles. Instead, Harry and Meghan delivered a high-budget propaganda piece. A one-sided, carefully scripted attack on the royal family. Then came the Pat Tillman Award, a moment that shocked veterans and patriots alike. Pat Tillman gave up a multi-million-dollar NFL career to serve in Afghanistan. Honoring Harry and Meghan with this award felt, to many, like narcissism crashing. Headlong into the battlefield, Pat Tillman died in combat, embodying sacrifice, integrity, and selfless duty. Yet ESPN awarded the Pat Tillman Award to the Sussexes for their role with the Invictus Games. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Gold Star families, veterans, and military groups voiced strong objections. Even Pat Tillman's mother, Mary Tillman, said she was never consulted and openly opposed using her son's name to honor celebrities. The irony is brutal. This award came while Harry was suing the UK government over taxpayer-funded security. Hero when there's a trophy, but a victim when VIP treatment isn't guaranteed. Meanwhile, Meghan turned the Invictus Games into her personal runway. When Harry launched the Invictus Games in 2014, it was hailed as a noble cause honoring wounded service members. By 2023, under Meghan's influence, the Invictus Games had morphed into a red carpet event. What was once a veterans competition turned into Meghan's personal fashion show. Former Invictus athletes privately expressed discomfort with the change. A UK veteran told The Telegraph anonymously, "It's not about us anymore. It's about them. This wasn't support, it was co-opting. Meghan didn't uplift Invictus. She absorbed it, turning a community of heroes into props for her brand revival. The Games didn't need Meghan Markle, but Meghan Markle desperately needed the Games.